Hello everybody, Litter for Life here, bringing you guys another deck profile. This time around is my Gem Knights. I absolutely love this deck, and I spent way too much money trying to get everything. Because nobody had these, so I had to buy them all online, and shipping and handling is not fun. So, this deck is super fun. It's a fusion deck, and I absolutely love playing it. First and foremost, I play 3 Gem Armadillo. This thing is not technically a Gem Knight, but it is a Gem Knight card. Whenever it is normal summon, you can add any Gem Knight monster from your deck to your hand. He's kind of like a Stratos in that way, and he's just really useful for getting to your combo pieces. I will say this, guys, right now, this deck is a glass cannon. This deck is all about doing a crap ton of damage, but it really cannot handle mass destruction cards like Dark Hole and everything, and it really needs to get to its combo pieces. Next, I play 3 Gem Knight Sardonyx. If you happen to have 3 Gem Knight Garnet, I would play him over this guy. But, however, I refuse to pay $10 for a normal monster, so I'm going with him instead. He's a Pyro Gem Knight. He's a Gemini, so he's a normal monster in the graveyard. And on the field, unless you Gemini summon him. So he has every benefit as Gem Knight Garnet, with the exception that I can't go into Gem Knight Ruby. So he's just useful for being a Pyro Gem Knight. Next, I play 3 Gem Knight Tourmaline. He is a normal monster, and he allows me to go into my Thunders and stuff. He is just really nice and everything. I play 3 Gem Knight Obsidian. If this guy is sent from the hand to the graveyard by a card effect, you can summon any normal monster from your graveyard that's level 4 or lower. He is just really useful for going into more combos and everything, for doing more fusions, and you absolutely need 3 of him. Next, you need 3 Gem Knight Lapis Lazuli, in my personal opinion. This thing is basically Gem Knight Obsidian, but however, if this thing hits the graveyard in any way, it doesn't matter where from, you can add a normal monster from your graveyard back to your hand. So it's a really nice card. It allows for even more combos and even more fusions, and I absolutely do recommend playing 3 of it. Next up, I play 2 Gem Knight Sapphire. Really good card. Kind of, it's a normal monster. You need it for more fusions. Like, you really just, basically everything here is needed for fusions, because that's the order for. Then 2 Gem Knight Lapis. Another thing that I need for fusions, it's a really nice card. It's a rock. So that's actually really needed for a certain monster that you definitely go into quite a bit. And then I play 2 Maxi, because this deck needs to get to its combo pieces, and generally speaking, you almost always want to go second, so hopefully you see this thing first turn, and you can drop it, and you can just get to your combo pieces faster. This deck falls apart if you can't get to your combo pieces, and it's absolutely necessary that you get to them as fast as possible. And finally, I play 1 Crystal Rose. For those who don't know, basically this card can come back by banishing a fusion monster in your graveyard, and it can copy the name of any Gem Knight or Melodious monster by sending it to the graveyard and everything. It's a really nice monster, being able to combo and everything, and if I ever can get a Seraphonite, it's a light target for Seraphonite. Now, that's all my monsters. Oh, and it's also a rock, so that's also really something that's necessary. I play 3 Gem Knight Fusion. You absolutely need to. It's an amazing card. It's basically polymerization for Gem Knights, but however, if it's in your graveyard, you can banish a Gem Knight monster, add it back to your hand. That is not once per turn, so it is just absolutely amazing. Being able to just fusion spam for days and days and days. Not literally, but you know what I mean. It's hyperbole. I play 3 Absorb Fusion. You rarely ever use this card for fusioning, but however, what you do use it for is for searching out Gem Knights. Whenever you activate this card, you can add any Gem Knight card from your deck to your hand, and then after that, you can fusion summon a Gem Knight fusion monster by banishing Gem Knights in your hand or on your field. You do not ever want to banish, guys, your Gem Knights unless it's for Gem Knight Fusion's effect to recur itself. So you rarely ever use that fusioning. But however, being able to search out any Gem Knight card, like Gem Knight Fusion, is just absolutely amazing, and you absolutely need it. Next up, 3 Brilliant Fusion. Okay, if you thought this card was good in like Pepe and stuff, this thing is broken in this deck. It is just absolutely absurd how broken it is and how amazing it is. I cannot praise this card enough. because it is just so good. And basically, if this resolves and you have a good hand, you can win the game very, very easily. It is mandatory at 3 for this deck to really function, and I hope to God that Konami does not limit it or anything. Next up, 3 Upstart Goblin. As I said, you need to get to your combo pieces. It is absolutely essential. This is here for that. I don't like giving my opponent's life points, as that just makes it harder for me to OTK them. And however, honestly, getting your combo pieces and wiping your opponent's board is more important than OTKing. Although this deck absolutely has to try as hard as it can to OTK your opponent before they can turn it around. Because as I said, this deck is a glass cannon. It can do a ton of damage, but it really cannot take a lot. Next, I play 2 Unexpected Die. This can, if you guys don't know what this does, if you control no monsters, you can summon any level 4 or lower normal monster from your deck. It's a really nice card. Can get out your Tourmalines or your Sapphires or anything else, and just basically allows you to extend your combos and everything. Generally speaking, it's the first thing you want to activate. 2 MST to clear out back row, because back row is the bane of this deck's existence, and heck, if it didn't hurt my consistency too much, I'd be playing 3 of this. But however, due to it hurting consistency, I have to play 2, and it really hurts me because I would love to play 3 of it. And then that's all the spells, and I play 3 Reckless Screeds as my only trap card. I used to play Gem Knight Spark or whatever it's called. I can't remember exactly what it's called. It's a trap card. If a Gem Knight you control is destroyed by a battle or card effect, you burn your opponent for that Gem Knight's attack power. But however, I dropped it out of here because I just found that it got in my way sometimes. Reckless Greed, you don't ever want to activate this card whenever you're only activating 1. You want to either hold it or just wait, or if you absolutely must, pray to God that you draw another copy of it off of it, because this card, it can be both a blessing and a curse. If you activate this card, you absolutely must win, because this deck cannot recover if your opponent clears your board, because you just burn through your resources so fast, and this deck has to overextend it. This deck cannot go easy on your opponent, and you have to overextend to do any amount of damage to your opponent. And heck, I almost hate using this card because it can hurt me just as much as it can hurt my opponent. That's everything for the main deck. On to the extra. I play 1 Gem Knight Topaz. This thing basically needs Topaz plus any Gem Knight monster. Not Topaz, it needs Tourmaline plus any Gem Knight monster, and it can attack twice, and it's a Flame Wing Man, but averages 1800 attack, so it's not really much of an attacker. I play 2 Gem Knight Citrine. He is Armades. He needs any Gem Knight monster plus a Pyro, so really you need any Gem Knight plus Sardonyx, or Garnet if you happen to have Garnet. I play 2 Gem Knight Lady Lapis Lazuli. This card is absolutely amazing. So you need Gem Knight Lapis plus any Gem Knight monster. You rarely ever actually fusion summon this using Lapis, although I do play her. But however, what you do mainly use to get into it is another monster that we will get to here in a little bit. And what this thing does is once per turn you can send any Gem Knight monster from your extract or deck to the graveyard. Burn your opponent for 500 damage for each special summon monster on the field. This thing can do a crap ton of damage, and generally speaking, the whole goal of this deck is to burn your opponent for a lot of damage and then finish them off if necessary with an attack. This deck can easily spam out 5 fusion monsters in 1 turn if you open well, or if you get to your combo pieces by drawing with Reckless Greed and Upstart Goblins and stuff. And it's mainly because of this card that I don't really mind using Upstart as much. But however, I still don't like using Upstart. Although it's necessary to get to my combo pieces. Next I play 2 Gem Knight Prismara. You can discard a Gem Knight card, pop a face-up card your opponent controls. It's a really nice card, can clear the board for going for an OTK. And I play 3 Gem Knight Zirconia. This guy is a beat stick. He's not an effect monster, so lose 1 turn does not affect this thing, which actually won me a game against Cleaforts. Because I did not have to worry about that. Lose 1 turn with this guy. He has 2,900 attack points, and he is one of your main beat sticks for going for a crap ton of damage. Next, I play 2 Gem Knight Master Diamond. He is one of your main OTK machines. He needs 3 Gem Knight monsters to go into. He gains 100 attack points for every Gem Knight in your graveyard, though that's not really He usually doesn't gain very much because you very rarely have more than like 5 or so in a grave at any given point. And by banishing a Gem Knight monster that's level 7 or lower, that's a fusion monster from your graveyard, he gains that Gem Knight fusion's effect. So, generally speaking, the main OTK is you get out Gem Knight Lapis Lazuli, use her effect, send Gem Knight Lazuli to the graveyard, burn your opponent for a bunch of damage, add a monster back from the graveyard to your hand using this thing's effect, and then you fusion into this thing using Gem Knight Lapis Lazuli, and then you use his effect to copy Lapis Lazuli's effect, and then you can burn your opponent for even more damage. That's the main like OTK with this deck, and then of course attacking your opponent for game. And then finally, to round out the fusions, I play 2 Gem Knight Lady Brilliant Diamond. Basically, what this thing does is it also needs 3 Gem Knight monsters as well. And by tributing off a Gem Knight monster, you can even tribute it off itself. You can summon any Gem Knight fusion monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. This is how you mainly get out Gem Knight Lapis Lazuli or any of your other Gem Knights. It is just a really good card, and it is absolutely necessary for 2 of it. You mainly use Brilliant Fusion to go into this, and that is mainly your main first turn play, if you can, is to go in, like, first play of the first turn is to go into this thing so you can get your combos going. Now then, that's it for the fusions. I do play 2 Exceeds because I kind of ran out of good Gem Knight fusions I can actually go into. And... sorry, I played 1 Exceeds. And that is Castel. He can get rid of just anything and help for going for an OTK. Really good card overall, and I just really like him. So guys, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any more recommendations, please leave them in the comments. I will say this right now, I have been thinking about playtesting my body as a shield, because this deck loses to mass destruction like Mirror Force and Dark Hole and stuff. I can't even tell you how many times I've lost to those cards, and it's just really aggravating. So guys, again, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Tell me what you guys think, and have a great day. Peace out.